All right, guys. So my name is Austin Park. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, as people say, shoot video, and designer, creative person based out of Michigan. And I want to tell you why this lens is the first lens you should buy if you're buying a Leica lens. So Leica lenses are known for being very expensive, and it's for good reason, I would say. A lot of people say, oh, they're too expensive, but once you have a Leica lens in the hand and you feel the quality of the build, and then you use it and you see the image, you kind of start to understand what's going on. However, not all Leica lenses are as expensive as you may think. So this lens is the 1963, my copy, is 1963 Leica 50mm Summicron f2 version 2 dual range. And this lens, I think, is the best lens that you can buy right now that is a Leica made lens. And there are a bunch of reasons for that. The first reason is it's super sharp. The lens design itself came out in the 1950s, and yet, I'm using it right now to film, and it's very sharp in the center. You get incredible micro contrast, and I've used it on many page shoots, and you'll see that in some of the sample images I'm showing, that it is so gorgeous. It's very sharp in the center, perfectly sharp, not over sharpened, and then when it goes to the edges, the out of focus area is just exploding, and it's this beautiful bouquet. And I just love that, because the last thing I want is a lens that is kind of just boring and doesn't, people say clinical, and I get that. I just don't want a lens that's boring. I want something going on, and I want to understand the character of the lens so that I can use it in especially beautiful ways. Because I would argue that if you have a lens with character, but you learn that character, then you can create more unique results and kind of either create a visual signature for yourself or cater to your visual signature. I just think that there's a lot of power in the idea that you can use a lens for its character. And this lens has beautiful character, in my opinion. So you can see the bokeh is not perfect. It kind of swirls a bit on the edges. It's got almost like that cat's eye appearance to it. And it's just I feel like it's kind of dreamy, and I love that. Another lens that I really love that has this, it's not the same look, but it's a similar idea with how it kind of swirls, is the Fujifilm 35mm f1.4 that they made at the beginning of their X line of cameras. Beautiful lens, beautiful characteristics. In fact, I sold a lot of my Fujifilm gear, but that's one thing that I kept because I do love that lens, because it's got that kind of swirly aspect to it, and that really helps create that 3D pop. When the focus fall off is so quick like this is a 50mm f2 lens, and it is focused at, the aperture is f2 right now. We're focused at 1.5 meters. When you get that fall off, it's just it's so special. And so I think that's one reason that people talk about the Leica look, is because this 3D feeling you get when the focus fall off is as it is here, and yet it's so sharp in the middle. And that's the big difference maker. A lot of vintage lenses tend to be, they may have amazing bokeh, but the sharpness in the center isn't amazing, and that's what makes this lens so special. And Summicrons from Leica, especially the 50mm Summicrons, are always known for being beautifully sharp in the center, even if they have this fall off. But that's just why I think this is the ultimate lens to buy right now. You can find them for anywhere from $800 on the low end to probably $1,100-$1,200 US on the high end. And if they include the dual range goggles for use with film cameras, then they'll be a little bit more pricey, obviously, because it's another part that's included. When I bought this lens, I actually got a really good deal. I found it for $750 from a lady who said she had the lens, took it to a camera shop, and they said that it needed to be cleaned. It was on eBay. That's all that the description said. So I took a little bit of a gamble. And I got the lens in hand, and I was so excited because all I did was take a microfiber cloth and wipe the lens elements, and they're perfect. Like perfect glass from 1963. This lens is still in perfect condition, so I'm very, very happy with the deal that I got. Nevertheless, even if you buy one that's not in like perfect condition, it's gonna render beautifully. It's gonna be a fantastic lens. And you can find them for, like I said, $800 to $1,100 US. And so that's why I think this is an amazing deal, because that's kind of like on the lower end of prices for Leica lenses. Now, I need to talk about what I did to my dual range Summicron. You'll see that I have sent this lens out to DAG out in Wisconsin to have the rear focusing cam sheared off for the close focus distance. And some people may be screaming when they hear that, like, how could you possibly alter a Leica lens? How could you do this to this perfect lens? You won't be able to focus, close focus on an M3 anymore. Yeah, true. However, the way I thought of it is that I don't have the goggles already to begin with. Okay. Number two, if I did have the goggles, it would not be very often that I would use them on my M3 to actually shoot a photo at 0.4 meters close focus distance. So there's not a whole lot of reason for me to need to access that close focus coupled to the rangefinder. And three, I bought an M240, and I wanted to use this lens so bad because I love it so much. And the only way to use this lens on an M240 or an M10 or an M10R or an M10P, anything but the Leica M11, the only way to use this lens on these cameras is to shear off that close focus cam. Now, the benefits far outweigh the fact of just shearing that off, because now I have a lens that compares with the newest lenses that Leica are releasing right now. Leica have released in recent years a 35mm f2 Apo Summicron, a 35mm f1.4 Summilux, and a 50mm f1.4 Summilux that all focus down to 0.4 meters. Guess what? So does my lens. It's great. The other thing I love about this lens is that it's all brass and glass. It's just like, once you feel it, you will understand. It feels so sturdy. It's way heavier than it looks. And this is a mark truly of a great product, well designed by experienced designers and engineers who really care about the product that they're making. I've been preaching for years the philosophy of good design, and Leica have always been in that category of companies who are established in good design practices. And this is a mark of good design. You have a product that is weighty, even though it doesn't look like it should be that heavy, but that weight to size ratio speaks to the density of the product and how well made it is. So this thing is brass all the way through. From the body to the helicoids, all of that is brass, and then the glass elements. And so this lens just feels amazing to hold. But I love products that are well made and tactile, and they feel so good to use. GX Ace made a video about tools that are beautiful, and this is a tool that is beautiful. So now I'm going to show you some sample images, some of my favorite images I've shot with this lens. The other great thing about this lens, like any vintage lens now, is that you can adapt it to whatever you want. So I have it currently adapted to my Leica SL2S to shoot this video. but I've adapted it to my Fujifilm cameras. You can adapt it if you have a Sony, a Canon, Panasonic, a Nikon. You can adapt it to anything because it's a vintage lens, and if you're shooting mirrorless, you can do that. And that's another great reason that this is a good buy. So if you don't have a Leica M rangefinder, that is okay. If you still want to experience the amazing characteristics of this lens, you can do that because you can just get an adapter for whatever camera system you have, just like any lens now. So those are some of the reasons that I love this lens, and I think it's the best buy in 2023 if you're looking at your first Leica lens, or even if you have many Leica lenses and you're looking for something compact and nice that's not super expensive compared to other Leica lenses. This lens will not disappoint. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I would love to release some more videos about just stuff that I think is awesome, like this lens. It may be photography related, it may be coffee related, and maybe EDC, who knows? There's just a bunch of stuff that I think is really cool that I'd love to share with you guys. So if you have any comments or questions, leave in the comments. I'd love to just have a discussion about this lens, about the character, whether you like it, whether you don't like it. Lens character is like a very subjective thing, and so I'd be very curious to hear what you guys think about this lens's character.